Hey everyone, ever wondered how to supercharge your app development? Well, today we are diving into the awesome world of Firebase. It's Google's mobile app development powerhouse. How it helps developers, by the way. It helps developers building real-time apps with super fast time. Well, what exactly is Firebase? It's just a tool? Mm, no, it's your one-stop shop for creating killer apps with less hassle. Imagine a playground for developers where you can bring your app dreams to life in record time. Firebase just started as a chat tool. If you see the history of Firebase, it's just started as a chat tool, but quickly evolved into the super cool real-time database with authentication, hosting, and a lot more features Google bought in once it got acquired in 2014. Let's let's break it down, see what Firebase provides as an awesome features here. So just we have three different verticals like build, release, and engage. So here if you see it provides a lot more features. It's not just a chat tool anymore. So it provides very cool features to build your app with no time. And it's really easy to keep user engagement smooth. It's like a piece of cake. It gives you a very valuable insights to tweak and perfect your user experience. And guess what? Firebase supports various platforms, as I said before. It supports Apple, Android, JavaScript, C++, and more. So why to stress more on the back end uh, when we can go as a one-stop solution for Firebase? Let's dive into it, understand how can we configure Firebase for Flutter. This is Firebase and this is how we are going to start. We are just going to develop a simple app and adding Firebase to our Flutter app, which supports multi-platform where we are going to configure with web, Android, iOS. Let's dive into it. Let's add Firebase to our Flutter app. How to do it? Let's get into Firebase console. So you will land up to this page when you Google it for Firebase console. So it's Firebase console, and here you have to search for Firebase and look for Firebase console. Click on it, and you should be logging in with your Gmail account. So this is my Gmail account. I logged in with my Gmail account, and you will once you get into Firebase console, you will end up into this page. So this is the place where you can create or add a project for Firebase. So let's get into step-by-step process of how to add a project in Firebase. So first you need to give a name of your app. Now I am giving some fancy name here, like I want to make a shopping app. So I say shopping Flutter. So I say shopping Flutter, just my project name, then click on continue. Then you can see Google Analytics for Firebase. And here I'm just clicking on continue. It offers all the analytics features. So here it is asking me when since you're joining into Google Analytics account, so which one you want to opt for. I'm just selecting one of the account for creating analytics, and here just wait for a minute of time. It will process everything and it will show you the console of all the features which we have discussed before. Cool. Our project is ready now. Click on continue. Come to this place. Here you can see something like get started by adding Firebase to your app. So here it provides various ways of adding Firebase to your app. So here iOS, if you're developing an Apple iOS related native apps, so you can exclusively do it for that. Even if you're doing a native Android, you can do it. And even for web, it supports and Unity and Flutter. Here, our target is to add Flutter, right? So here I'm just clicking on Flutter. So here, once you click on Flutter, so it helps you to show you what is the preparation you need to do in your workspace. Here, the easiest way it suggests to go with FlutterFire. So what is this FlutterFire? So let me show you, and we'll have a short. Yes, this is FlutterFire. What is this FlutterFire and how it helps us? So here, if you see this FlutterFire, right? So it just gives you what all the plugins you require to add or combine Flutter with Firebase. So how do you know which plugin to use for what? So this helps you. Every detail is mentioned here. Which plugin you need to use and how to use. All the details is mentioned in Firebase Firebase Flutter.dev. I will provide this link in the description. You can go through it and understand how do you, if you want to just look around and understand this. So you can take a look. So coming to the installation part, so where do you start? So first, you have to install this plugin by installing npm. If you don't have npm, you have to install npm. And after that, you need to run this .pub global active flutterfire CLI. So these two are mandatory to run it. If you face any issues, please comment below in this video. I'll help you out. And if you observe here, there's a lot of features, and if you click on it, it will give you the detailed information about the feature. Let's talk about analytics. If you see analytics here, so each feature like Google Analytics for Firebase, what does it do? And it gives a very clear indication where to get started with. So this is a FlutterFire. So this helps you to do the installation and understand each feature of Firebase. And how do you configure that Firebase with Flutter? And let's see the installation. Here, if you see the manual installation guide, you can see the installation for multiple platforms like Android installation, iOS, macOS, web installation. So you have a specific installation methods and a code provided, and you can follow this, and it helps you to do that installation smoothly. And for us, for Flutter, right? So here you can see here the way if you didn't set up yet the the Firebase thing. So here there are some prerequisites which you need to do. First, you need to find your editor, install the editors, and set up your emulators, and make sure your app meets the following requirements, like the target API level should be like 19 or higher, and uses Android 4.4 or higher, right? And you have to install your Flutter SDKs, and then, as I said, you have to sign into the Firebase using your Google account. So once you're good with this, prerequisites. I'm just showing you again. These are the prerequisites. Without these prerequisites, you can't create and add a Flutter Firebase configuration. Can't do that. So let's get into the very first step. What you need to do here, you have to install the required command line tools and then say Firebase login. And as I said, this is a very important step for us. Like dart pub global activate FlutterFire CLI. So let's get into it and we'll do it, and we will even configure our app to Firebase. So we are in Android Studio and I just created a sample Flutter project and we are going to add a Firebase to it. So before adding Firebase, we need to log in to Firebase. So for that, we just need to say a command called Firebase Login. I will provide all the commands, whatever we are using in this video. I'll provide in description. Please check out that. I hope it helps. So here it's asking me that it will be collecting some information from my account. So I am saying no for that. And it comes to this place and it asks authentication. So you just need to select your account. If you haven't logged into your browser yet, you just need to give your account and you have to give the permission, say allow, and you can see here uh, it says Firebase CLI login successful. Then let's go back to our Android Studio and here you can see something like success logged in with my email account. So this is how the Firebase authentication will happen. And what next? So the next thing, the very next thing is you need to install the FlutterFire CLI. How do you do it? I have already did that. So we just need to hit this command, write this command and hit enter. Then it happens in this way. So it says like is currently active at version 0.2.7, which I already have. But I'm just showing this command. This is the very next command which you should be having to run FlutterFire and configure the Flutter project to your Flutter app. And now you can see the Flutter got activated, installed successfully. Now we can do this Flutter configure. Before doing this, I want to install few packages where we are using few of the Firebase products like Firebase Core, Firebase Authentication, Cloud Firestore, all this. So if you want to use something, the packages you need to go to your browser and you need to go to your browser and you need to go to pub dev and here you need to search for your Firebase core, the package what you want to install. So this is the package which I want to install, and here there are multiple ways of adding the plugin. So if you see here, come to the installation tab, and here the easiest way is just copy this command and run this command here. So what is the other way? The other way is there is a file name called pubspec.yaml. This is pubspec.yaml file. If you open this file, here in this file section, you can add your dependencies like this. You can add all your dependencies like this. So the best way I suggest and I follow is just adding that in the command section so that there will be no mistakes in spaces. Just run this and you can see the package gets all the dependencies and it will install successfully. So in this way, whatever the packages you need, you can install it. So since I know what I want, I'm just typing it here. And don't worry, I'll provide all this for you in description. And yes, we are good. So what next? So here we need to configure the apps. So how do you do that? So you have a command here, say FlutterFire and say configure. So here FlutterFire configure, you just do this. And since we have already given a Firebase login, it's already connected to my account and it will be showing me what all projects which I have created in Firebase. It shows the list here. Now it's trying to fetch all the available Firebase projects in my account. And here there are so many uh, which is under my name, and this is the one which we have created, which is shopping Flutter. So I'm just hitting enter, I'm selecting that, and it asks you which platform you want to configure this. So here you have up and down arrow buttons in your keyboard. You just navigate up and down, and if you want to select something, like say everything is selected, if you want to unselect, you just unselect the one. So it will work on only the one which is selected. So here I'm selecting everything. So I want everything. So it selects Android, iOS, Mac OS, and web. Before selecting, I'll show you before the configuration how it is in our project. So if you see here, this is our Firebase project which we have created, and if you can observe here, there is no applications added. So there is no apps added, and everything is clean, and it shows the project overview, authentication, Firebase database, real-time database, all the products which will be shown up in the left pane here. And here, if you see, there is no apps added yet. Let's go here, and we have already selected everything and hit enter. Then it will register your all apps mentioned here with Flutter to Firebase app. Now it got registered with Android app. Let's check out in Firebase project. I'm just refreshing this to see whether it got added. Yes, you can see here it added my app for Android. So, and similarly, it should be adding other apps too. So if you can see here, it's clearly mentioned as Flutter with Maps Android. So it will be adding other apps too, like iOS, web OS, what are the platforms we selected? It is going to register for others. So here, if you can see, earlier it was showing only for Android. Now it was done for iOS too, and it is doing for rest of the other apps to be registered here. And macOS, we can just go back to our Firebase and try to refresh this and see here. Now you can see two apps. What is that? Android and iOS. So similarly, you can look for web and Mac OS as well. So here you can see Mac OS is completed, and uh, the registration is done. Now you can even see for Mac OS too. So here, just refresh this, and here you can see three apps: Android, iOS, and Mac OS. So there is one more remaining, which is web. So if we come back here, you can see here like how it's getting registered and fetching the details. Yes, and it's registering web now, which is completed. We can go back here, refresh this. Awesome, it's done. So now you can see the complete four apps which we have registered with Firebase. We have added Android, iOS, macOS, web, everything, all platforms in one go within a minute of time. So this is way I'm saying it's light and powerful when we combine and you're doing cross-platform with Firebase and Flutter. This is the best backend service tool or platform where it helps you in all ways. You just need to plug in and focus on your front end and your business logic. The rest all backend services Firebase will take care. And moving back to app here, if you observe if you observe this, after registering everything, it says it has created one file for configuration. It generated one file. This has the IDs of each platform which it has been generated. So these are the IDs which is registered with these particular platforms. So where you can see, you can go to project. Within project, there is something called library, and within the library, you can see some name called Firebase underscore options. Just click on that to understand how this Firebase configuration got created. And if you see here, all these APIs and app IDs got created, which gives an unique ID for each configuration of Firebase to Flutter app, right? So it's for each platform. So this is how it got generated, and you can see it very clearly. This app ID got generated for macOS. This app ID got generated for iOS, and this Android. This is for Android, and this is for web. So all these app IDs are unique. You can see it very clearly. All these IDs, whatever has been generated, is unique for each platform, whatever it has generated. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe, like, and if you have any problem on your configuration of adding Flutter, please comment below. I'll help you out. Thank you.